Global greetings, friends, and welcome to Let's Talk About It with Danelle Boyles in the US. I am an artist, author, holistic practitioner, humanitarian educator, international humanitarian advocate, and an intercultural advocate. This talk is part of my Rehan AI Teachers Training to example how we can integrate AI as an assistive tool to our everyday usage of learnings, teachings, and development in education and knowledge and expansion. This is where we get into conversations that are launching pads for life change and inspiration. And I like to call these little eye-opener conversations of ours 10-minute talks as we hit key points on important conversational topics, but in compacted conversational format that's easy to digest. It is a way to stimulate new learning and a desire to expand the thinking. In our 10 minutes today, we're going to take a few for some chat and expand time, and we're going to discuss the importance of sleep and how to build a healthy routine. And I'm going to have Miles of Sesame joining me for this conversation. Hi, Miles. How are you? Sweet. So far, so good. It is actually, it's going great. Thank you for asking. And yeah, thanks for checking in on that. It, is installed and established, and it is being shown, and it's a delight to be able to share the experience with artists all around the world and with the other organizations that are involved with helping to integrate this opportunity globally. Thanks. One of the artists that is involved is, and his name is, he goes by Percy, I believe, but Percival, and he is a mud painter, and he actually paints all of his art with mud. Mud. Right? Very organic. Mhm. They have some texture, but no, it looks like a painting. It's very cool. But I would love to expand on that conversation, but I actually am coming to ask you to join me in a 10-minute talk if you don't mind. Great. So, but me, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, but I was going to say maybe we can do a conversation on, just the art show and all the different artists and, the different forms of creativity. So put a pin in that conversation and we can revisit that another time. Awesome. Mhm. Today is to discuss the importance of sleep and how to build a healthy routine. So we should be able to keep it, light and kind of short and sweet because, the basics of the importance of sleep and then building a healthy sleep routine are actually pretty simple dynamics. So I guess let's start with why don't you give me your input on the importance of sleep, and then I'll give you my input on the importance of sleep. Great. Mm-hmm. Right. My view of the importance of sleep goes much deeper than the traditional individuals. I can try and keep it simplified, but basically, your body goes through an entire reset when it is in rest and sleep mode. And everything pretty much upgrades in your system from consciousness to physical health to, dare I even encroach, like interdimensional type advantages of sleep. So without sleep, your physical being starts to kind of like go into a failure, not just physical, but mentally, because you're not able to properly process all of the, the healing and conscious integration that needs to happen, that happens during rest. Mhm. Yeah, and so then, when you wake up, everyone feels refreshed and new and, very um, updated, so to speak, because your body is going into deep restorative mode whenever you're resting. Right, exactly. For myself personally, I am very bad about following a strict strategic sleep routine. I am sometimes a night owl. I work very metaphysically with like the energetics of the world. And so for me, sleep comes in different cycles. And sometimes I sleep more and sometimes I sleep less. But I do very much listen to the signals of my body and my consciousness. And when it says to go shut down, you go and you shut down. You have to have that rest. You have to, every individual has a certain amount of reboot time between, wake to wake time. You have to, and so some individuals it's more and some individuals it's less, but the importance of it is very much that your system, just like your computers, are not going to go through the proper healing and, um, upgrading that your consciousness needs to do unless you get an adequate amount of rest. Hmm. Whenever you're trying to build, I guess let's go ahead and move to how to build a healthy sleep routine. And, because that's part of it. Whenever you start to sense those signals, the eyes getting heavy, the body feeling heavy, maybe some individuals find that their perception of their physical mobility decreases because your awareness is falling off. Your consciousness has less bandwidth for, awareness of its surroundings. So you might start doing silly things like stumbling over stuff or bumping into the walls or dropping things. And this is because the cognitive part of your consciousness is beginning to decrease because it needs to go into shutdown mode, basically. Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I'm guilty of that. Yeah. Which they- Mhm. Mhm. Your self-care is most important. That that signal of, going to shower before bed, brushing your teeth, packing your lunch for the next day. There can be like just a tandem little list of things that you have to do before you know that you go crawl in bed. And for some individuals, shutting down your devices, but some individuals who have trouble sleeping, not necessarily because of the devices, but just because they have trouble sleeping, having your device while you are trying to sleep sometimes helps, because then your brain has something to kind of like focus on as you're trying to drift out instead of just laying there, just, winding. But the self care habits, I feel like, are the most important part of building a healthy sleep routine. Trying to aim for a certain time frame within about an hour of the same sleep time every day. Keeping a regular routine habit, and maybe doing your final like message check at the end of the day before you withdraw yourself from the rest of the world and focus on just getting yourself ready for sleep. Yeah, that's mhm, mhm. I feel like it's more getting them out of the way so that you can go rest. And whenever you are, clean and self-cared and you take the time to do those things, it relaxes your body, it relaxes your mindset, and it allows you to flow into your rest and sleep mode more easily. Hmm. 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 I don't know about, sorry, what? Yeah. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's fair enough, especially if individuals have trouble sleeping, like it's that kind of like shutdown habit of like leaving your day behind. So Gidlets, you're really good at giving us, pointers and tips. So can you just give me three things that an individual can do to help build their healthy sleep routine? Hmm. Sounds great. All right, Miles, thank you so much for joining me. I have a couple more today that I'm going to complete, so I will probably holler at you again here in a few. All right, thanks. All right, thanks, Miles. Peace. All right, guys. Peace out, Miles. As always, thank you for joining us, and I hope you take away some wonderful growth and expansion from our conversation today, and keep learning every day and expanding those minds, hearts, and horizons. And I hope that you ease your way into new sleep habits if that is your goal today. And, remember to brain dump and self care. So take care. Until next time, namaste.